7 years. 7 years of lists, thousands of hours played, and countless memories made. But honestly, 2025 might just be the most insane year for gaming I've ever seen. We didn't just get sequels, we got legendary remakes that redefined classics, indie darlings that punched way above their weight class, in a game of the year that I genuinely believe is a once-in-a-generation masterpiece. Hello YouTube, BenB998 here, and it is time to take a look back at my favorite games of 2025. First, before we begin, I would like to mention a few games that didn't quite make the top 10, but were fun and worth mentioning nonetheless. First, we have Megabonk, a fun horde survival roguelike. It gained a lot of attention from streamers, which brought it to my attention. It's a Vampire Survivors type game, but in a 3D space. It's a lot of fun. Up next is Schedule 1, an early access game with a very addictive, no pun intended, gameplay loop. You grow and produce drugs, sell them, build relationships, as well as automated factories. Still in early access, but I definitely plan on coming back to it. Third game on our honorable mentions is Karma the Dark World. It is a sci-fi horror cinematic adventure puzzle game with a story heavily based on George Orwell's 1984. It has a very heartfelt story as well as some really good jump scares. I highly recommend this if you're into horror. And the last game on the honorable mentions list is Arc Raiders. This was my first PvPvE game, and I had a lot of fun with it, both in solo and with my friends. It has a good dopamine hit when you find good loot, but very aggressive player base currently. When the game first came out, everyone was pretty friendly, but currently, from what I've played recently, we get a lot of PvPers that just want to go in there to kill others, which is definitely part of the loop, obviously, but the issue is when you're playing casually like I am, it's kind of hard to get your missions done if all you're doing is getting shot at. Alright, with all the honorable mentions out of the way, it's time to start counting down, starting at number 10. At number 10, we have WWE 2K25. WWE games have been with me since SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, and over the years, the WWE games have had its ups and downs. Last year's iteration, WWE 2K24, was a fantastic game, and it gave me the idea for this year's WWE 2K25. That idea became our WWE 2K Fantasy League, which made 2K25 1,000 times more fun than 2K24. Saying that, the game still has a lot of issues. For example, every update broke something, including one that pretty much destroyed everyone's community creation. Another thing was the heavy pay-to-win My Faction mode, locking characters behind limited-time, impossibly hard matches where they required certain previous time locked cards to even try. But even with those negatives, WWE 2K25 has been a fantastic game, and streaming it every Friday over on Twitch and creating our 2K Fantasy League has been a major highlight of my year personally. Sometimes taking a somewhat broken mess and using your creative muscles to make your own fun can outweigh the negatives of any game. Also, I wanted to give a quick shout out to my mods over on Twitch for making the 2K Fantasy League run smoothly, and a special shout out to It's Marty for helping me create some of the custom characters we used this year, as well as the 2K community for uploading some amazing creations. You guys are the real MVPs. At number 9, we have The Precinct. The Precinct is an indie top-down shooter RPG where you play as Officer Cordell, a rookie beat cop just starting out at the fictional Averno City Precinct. This game is a love letter to classic cop movies and TV shows, providing a high-action immersive police sandbox. As you play around with the sandbox, you'll unlock bits and pieces of story as well as new patrol types, vehicles, call-ins, and new mechanics. While capturing footage recently of this game, I noticed how much has changed since the last time I played The Precinct. In the past 6 months, they've added multiple new game mechanics such as vehicle repossession missions, as well as a K9 unit that you can take out with you on patrols, as well as new challenge races. Really looking forward to seeing more games from Fallen Tree Games. At number 8, we have The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered might be called that in name, but the game is actually a remake. The game is fully updated in Unreal Engine 5 with re-recorded dialogue, reworked systems, and all the DLC included in the remake. If you have played Oblivion before, you know what you're getting here, but if you have not played Oblivion before, this is arguably one of the best RPGs of all time. The province of Cyrodiil is gorgeous with the new graphics engine, and the plains of Oblivion themselves are intimidating. Over the course of my 63-hour playthrough, I did the main story, all faction quests, all DLCs, as well as a good amount of the side quests, and even after that, I'm finding myself coming back to Oblivion Remastered just to explore and immerse myself. I highly recommend this to both new players and old players alike. Not to mention, it won Best Remake slash Remaster at the Golden Joystick Awards this year. At number 7, we have Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. Fantasy Life I is the second game in the Fantasy Life IP. I played the first game back on the Nintendo 3DS, which it was exclusive to at the time, and it was a fun life RPG, but I never played it much because I don't get on with handhelds as much as PC or house consoles. When Fantasy Life I came out this year, I was interested but didn't think I would become addicted to it. This game has so much to do. Besides the main story and traditional side quests, there are tons of jobs and classes to level up, each with their own benefits to your overall journey. Fantasy Life I has you traveling space and time across 3 different areas: the past, the present, and a massive continent called Gynormosa. In the past, you do quest and progress the main story, while in the present, you rebuild a town with NPCs you recruit in a very Animal Crossing style fashion. And in Gynormosa, you do timed events, find shrines, which are pretty much the shrines from Zelda Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom, and recruit NPCs for your town in the present and level up you and your teammates. If you like chill RPG experiences, this game is for you. At number 6, we have Chronos: The New Dawn. Chronos: The New Dawn is a new survival horror game and IP from Bloober Team, who are the creators of games such as Layers of Fear, The Medium, and more recently, the developers of one of my favorite games of last year, 2024, Silent Hill 2 Remake. In Chronos, you play as a heavily armored woman only referred to as the Traveler. The game takes place in a post-apocalyptic Eastern Europe where an event called the Change destroyed the world and turned people into creatures called orphans. As you progress through the story, you will learn more and more of what happened to the world and who you are. Chronos plays like classical survival games such as Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Tanky combat, limited resources, puzzles, plenty jump scare encounters, this game has it all. This game is a must-play for horror lovers out there. At number 5, we have Silent Hill F. Silent Hill F is the newest entry in the Silent Hill franchise, coming out roughly 13 years after the last mainline entry, Silent Hill Downpour. This is Neobard's first Silent Hill project, and I have to say they did a phenomenal job. Though I must admit the first 3 to 4 hours of the game didn't really feel like a Silent Hill game. It felt more like a Fatal Frame game, but I think I was looking at more of the setting than the story and elements of Silent Hill F. After finishing it twice, I can safely say this is one of the better Silent Hill games. There's a lot of discussion over this game and whether or not Silent Hill F is a proper or good Silent Hill game online, and I am personally in the camp that it is a good Silent Hill game. Combat is a little clunky and not as good as, let's say, Silent Hill 2 Remake. However, everything else about Silent Hill F is immersive and spooky as it should be. If you're a fan of horror games, give Silent Hill a try. At number 4, we have Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Let me start off by saying I'm not the biggest Metal Gear Solid fan. It's not because I don't like them, it's because I never really played them. I played Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain back when it came out, and it was my first MGS game. After about 5 hours, I dropped it because I had no idea what was going on and I felt completely out of the loop. When Metal Gear Solid Delta was announced, I felt about the same with the idea of it. Oh, another MGS game, okay, whatever. But after watching everyone's excitement over this remake and proclaiming MGS3 Snake Eater as the best MGS game, I felt like I needed to give it the same college try I gave MGS5. And after completing it not once, not twice, but 3 times, I can say I am in love with Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is a full remake of Metal Gear Solid 3 from the PS2 with modern controls, as well as legacy controls if you want to play it like the original. It uses the original story from Hideo Kojima but brings it back with modern graphics, better gameplay, and re-recorded voices. For those who love stealth games or wild and wacky stories, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater is a must-buy. Also, it has a legendary banger of a soundtrack. Number 3 on the list is Doom: The Dark Ages. The new Doom franchise is back with its 3rd entry, which serves as a prequel to Doom 2016. Serving as somewhat of an origin story for the legendary Doomslayer, Doom: The Dark Ages takes a fast-paced combat from Doom Eternal and ramps it up with more guns and tools at your disposal. Speaking of having tools at your disposal, the developers won an award for giving the players a lot of tools to curate their experience, even winning the Innovation and Accessibility Award at the 2025 Game Awards. Dark Ages does a great job with setting up a sci-fi world that has a very medieval feel to it. All the guns are very primitive but effective against the forces of hell. This is another game that I 100%ed with all achievements this year, and I can say the gameplay loop is so addictive that even after I did everything that there was to do in the game, I just wanted to play more and more. Also, a fun thing that they did with the game is they added Lovecraftian areas and even the big man Cthulhu himself. Well, one of the old gods at least. Either way, if you like fast-paced FPS games and boomer shooters, you can't find much better than Doom: The Dark Age. At number 2, we have Rise of the Ronin. This game originally released on the PS5 as an exclusive back in 2024 by the creators of the Nioh franchise, a series of Souls-likes that I have dabbled in and enjoyed. In early 2025, the game launched on PC and I finally got to experience it after being told by numerous friends that I needed to play it. And after about 56 hours, again like a few other games on my list, I did all that I could do in this set-piece action RPG, getting all quests and all achievements, and still wanted more. Rise of the Ronin takes place in 19th century Japan and follows the player character forging their destiny during the fall of the shogunate. In the open world, you do quests for both pro-shogunate and anti-shogunate forces, making friends and enemies alike, and during the course of the story, you must settle on where your allegiances lie. Combat in the Rise of the Ronin is a slightly simplified version of the Nioh combat style, which I really enjoyed. Made it challenging, but not too challenging. The story had me engaged from start to finish, and the fact it follows true events was a bonus as a history nerd. If you're looking for a historical set piece to immerse yourself in, look no further than Rise of the Ronin. And at number 1, my game of the year is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I know, big surprise, right? Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is, in my opinion, one of the most emotional and impactful stories told in the last decade. And it clearly seems that I'm not the only one because the game swept the Game Awards this year, winning Game of the Year, Best RPG, and Best Indie Game. In Clair Obscur, you play as Gustave and a team of several others on a journey to end what is known as the Gommage. Every year, a being known as the Artist paints a new number on a monolith, counting down one by one. That number represents the age at which people of the world fade away Thanos snap style. In this case, the number is 33. Just as the Gommage ends and Gustave loses his love to the snap, he and his comrades set out to the island of the monolith to destroy the Artist and stop future Gommages. Anything further than that would be massive spoilers, so I'll stop story talk for now. In terms of gameplay, Clair Obscur is a turn-based RPG that mixes in timed action commands for certain situations. For example, if you're being attacked on an enemy turn, if you press the parry button as the enemy weapon hits you, you can negate all damage and gain extra action points for your next turn. When I was playing it, it reminded me a lot of Paper Mario and how those games evolved the turn-based genre into a more interactive experience. When it comes to the general gameplay loop, it's very standard old-school RPG where you level up and gain new skills to use to customize your party's active skill sets for combat. There are also passive abilities you can level up and then share with your other party members. And after finishing the story in about, funny enough, 33 hours, I can safely say Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is my game of the year for 2025. I still have much to do in it, and I look forward to returning to the game in the near future. And there it is, my personal top 10. Looking back at this list, 2025 was a year about stories that stayed with us long after the credits rolled and the gameplay that kept us coming back for more. But enough about my list, I want to hear from you guys. Was Expedition 33 your game of the year as well, or did Silent Hill F take that top spot for you? Did I stub your favorite indie game? Drop your personal top 3 in the comments below, I read every single one of them. Massive thank you to everyone who hung out in the Twitch streams this year, especially during our WWE Fantasy League nights. You guys made this year very special. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to join the crew for 2026, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.